Hi guys, we're gonna talk about lesson 8 today. Welcome to our first online class. Chapter 8 is about unit analysis. To start this off though, I'm gonna have you tear some paper. So what you want to do is grab a blank piece of paper like this. Get it in the camera here. Just a regular piece of paper. I'm gonna have you do what's called a hamburger fold. So fold along the long side, fold it, make a crease. Nice crease, and then you're going to take it open and rip it. So you should have two nice halves of a paper. Then I'm going to have you put it back together. Sorry, I'll find the camera eventually. Put it back together, and again, fold it along the long side. So this is what some people call a hamburger fold instead of a hot dog fold. So fold against the long side, and now rip both of those. So now you have 4 pieces of paper. Put them back together. Do it again, fold on the long side. Rip. Okay, and one more time. Put them all together, fold, and rip. Alright, so what you should have are 16 pieces of paper that are about this size. I'll show you what to do with those in a second, but I'll put up here on the screen I am posting, wherever I post this video, you're going to find a pre-made sheet for some specific, these are what we're calling manipulatives. And so I posted some specific ones that we're going to use over and over again, but you'll also want some blank ones like we just ripped up. Alright, let's talk about what to do with these. If you're going to use the pre-made ones, go ahead and print them out. If you don't have a printer, then go ahead and make some on your own. I would distinguish them by either printing them on a separate sheet of paper. We were going to use pink in class if you want to be consistent there. Otherwise, use a different color pen or write something on them to note that they are, what would you call those? Those are the permanent ones that you're going to use over and over again. The other ones are just throwaway ones that we'll use one time per problem and then toss them. Okay, and if you're going to print them out, make sure you print them double-sided, and double-sided specifically flipping the long way. So here we have the dog, our first problem, called gas consumption. A car is traveling at 65 miles per hour and gets 25 miles per gallon and travels for 45 minutes. How many gallons does the car use during that time? Alright, so let's go through this. We need to find how many gallons that it's taken us. So let me make a manipulative for what we do know. So what you do is take one of your manipulatives, write down something that you know about this problem. So we know that it takes him 45 miles for 1 hour. So I'm using MI for miles, HR for hours. Now I'm going to flip this over and reverse these two things. So I'm going to put 1 hour on top and 65 miles per hour. 65 miles. So 1 hour on top, 65 miles on the bottom. That way, whichever way I need this fraction, I can just flip it to the right way. So I might need 65 miles on the top, I might need 65 miles on the bottom. Alright, I'm going to do that for the next thing we know, 25 miles per gallon. So 25 miles per 1 gallon, GAL for gallon. Flip that, got 1 gallon, 25 miles on bottom. And we've got one more, I'm going to do 45 minutes, MIN for minutes. But of course, it doesn't tell us 45 minutes per what, so I'm just going to make this part up and call it, well, she was on 1 trip. And then flip it and reverse that fraction. So 1 trip on top, 45 minutes on bottom. All right, now I know that my goal, I'm going to write goal here. My goal is to get gallons as my answer. So that is gallons, and really I want to know gallons for the whole trip. I want gallons per trip that she used. So now I'm going to try to lay out my manipulatives so that anything I have on top will cancel with anything I have on bottom of another fraction, and I'm left with a gallons that didn't cancel on top and a trip that didn't cancel on the bottom. Alright, so as I'm laying this out, I see I have a gallons and a miles here, but gallons is on the bottom. I want gallons to end up on top, so I'm going to flip this, and now I have gallons on top. Alright, but I also have miles on the bottom. I don't want miles anywhere in my answer, so I'm going to need that to cancel with a miles in the top of another fraction. Well, here's another fraction with miles in it, so I need miles on the top to cancel with the miles on the bottom from the other fraction. Okay, so this is looking good, except now I have hours on the bottom, but I don't want to end up with hours in the bottom. So I need a manipulative that will cancel with the hours in the bottom. I also have minutes here in this manipulative. So if there was some way to relate minutes to hours, and of course you know that 1 hour is 60 minutes, but I'd like to do this with a manipulative. So if you look at those ones that I gave you to do, either print out or make ahead of time, you should have one that has 1 hour per 60 minutes and flips to be 60 minutes per 1 hour. Now because I want to cancel with the 1 hours on the bottom here, I'm going to flip this one so 1 hours is on the top here. Okay, now the last thing to do is cancel with minutes, and I have this manipulative with minutes already. So let me move that to the top. And the top minutes here will cancel with the bottom minutes here. And the only thing that hasn't canceled is the gallons and the trip. So I'll be left with gallons per trip. So before I get rid of my layout here, because it looks good, I'm going to write this out. 1 gallon over 25 miles. And what we're doing mathematically is multiplying these fractions together. 65 miles per 1 hour. 1 hour per 60 minutes times 45 minutes over 1 trip. And what we want to know is how many gallons per trip. So notice the miles cancel, the hours cancel, and the minutes cancel. So if we multiply all these together, one way to do this is to take the numerator and multiply, the numerator being the tops of the fractions, and multiply all those top numbers together. So that is 65, 1 really, times 65 times 1 times 45, and that gets you 2,925 over 25 times 1 times 60 times 1. That gets you 1,500. Now what this tells you is that it would take 2,925 gallons to make 1,500 trips. But I really only want 1 trip. And I want to know how many gallons it took for her to go 1 trip. So now I just have to divide 2,925 by 1,500. And I get 1.95 gallons. Okay, that's it for now. Try the problems that I've listed and post any questions you have either to our forums or message me or on our Discord, and we'll hopefully settle in on one place eventually. Good luck, everyone.